Good morning, children. Saira. Children, I hope you have started learning, reading, going through the chapters very well, right? By now? So, today's revision session will be a new topic, a new chapter of political science, that is, chapter 5, Women Change the World. We have already done this chapter previously. I hope you remember it. Okay, a small refresher, a small recap kind of a thing for, or a small revision for you all, so that you would understand it much better, or if you have forgotten it, then you might remember everything. Okay, so I hope you remember the previous chapter, that was chapter 4, growing up as girls and boys. Yeah, I hope you will remember it. So, in that chapter, we saw how women's work in home is not recognized as work. That is, in short, when our mothers or any elderly women works or does the household work, it is not considered or it is not recognized as work. Uh, in the previous chapter, we also read how doing the household work and taking care of a family members is a full-time job of the women. There is no specific hours, okay, at which the work begins or at which the work ends. So, in this chapter, we are going to revise work outside the home. We will understand how some occupations are seen more suitable for men than that for women. We will also revise about how women struggle for equality. Getting an education was and still is one way in which new opportunities were created for women. So, we will also revise the different types of efforts made by women's movement to challenge the discrimination in more, you know, uh, in the more say recent years. Okay. So, let us begin. Prior to that, keep your notepad and pen handy to write down the important points. And I really do hope that you are doing that sincerely. Fewer opportunities and rigid expectations, right? Uh, so, children, women work both inside and outside the home. But there are some occupations which are seen to be more fit for men than women. Women have been facing the problems of inequalities at every point. They are still struggling and making efforts to overcome this challenge through various movements. Getting an education was and still is one way in which newer opportunities were created for women. There are people who believe that women make better nurses due to their inbuilt qualities of being patient and gentle. Also, they are not meant to study science as it requires technical mind. And girls and women are not capable of dealing with technical things. So we all know that there is a stereotype, um, that people say girls can't drive cars, right? Why? Because it is said that girls don't have or they are not capable of dealing with technical things. So this stereotype thinking discriminates between boys and girls, and hence girls cannot opt to be a doctor or an engineer. Though things are changing now on a large scale, still discrimination exists. So girls after their schooling are motivated by their families to get married. The society in which we live, it pressurizes children in forms of demands. unfair teasing by friends, getting a good job, to behave in a way other boys behave. So, children, if you see in your textbook on page number 57, okay, there is this example given for breaking stereotypes. Now, let us see what it was. People say that engine drivers are men, okay, but 27-year-old Lakshmi Lakra from a very poor tribal family in Jharkhand has brought change. She is the first woman engine driver for Northern Railways. Though Lakshmi's parents are not literate, but they struggled and overcame many hardships to make sure that their children got education. So Lakshmi studied in government school, and even when she was in school, she helped with the housework and did odd jobs. She studied hard and did well, and then went on to get a diploma in electronics. And then she took the railway board exam and passed in her first attempt. It is very important for us to understand that we live in a society in which all children face pressures from the world. Sometimes, these might come in the form of expectations from adults. At other times, they come just because of unfair teasing by own friends. Boys are pressurized to think about getting a job that will pay a good salary. They are also teased and bullied if they do not behave like other boys. So, these are some of the pressures that children face nowadays. So, slowly and gradually, we observe that many children are going to school, and this is something positive. In the current scenario, it is difficult for us to imagine that schools and learning could be seen as out of bounds or not appropriate for some children. Earlier, children used to learn their family work, and there were communities where girls were not allowed to learn and study. But boys were. So, in fact, in cases like pottery, weaving, and craft, girls' contribution was considered just supportive. It was in the 19th century when number of new notions about education and learning developed. Schools started becoming common, and children from all communities started going to schools. So, though girls still faced opposition, efforts were made to open schools for them. But women still struggle to learn to read and write. Learning to read and write led some women to question the situation of women in society. They wrote stories, letters, and autobiographies describing their own experiences of inequality. In their writings, they also imagined new ways of thinking and living for both men and women. So, children, Ramabai. Now, these are the examples from your textbook. Okay, let us revise more about it. Ramabai, known as Pandita, she never went to school. Okay, but she could read and write in Sanskrit. She established mission in Khedgaon near Pune in the year 1898, where widows and poor women were encouraged to become literate and independent. That is, by learning the skills for carpentry, printing press, etc. In the 19th century, many new ideas about education and learning emerged. Schools became more common, and communities that never had learned reading and writing started sending their children to school. But then at that time there was a lot of opposition for educating girls. Yet many women and men made efforts to open schools for girls, and women struggled to learn to read and write. Rajchandari Devi was born in West Bengal about some 200 years ago. At the age of 60, she wrote a biography in Bangla. Her book titled Amar Jiban. In the first known autobiography written by an Indian woman, Rajchandari Devi has mentioned that she was a housewife from a rich landlord's family. At that time, it was believed that if a woman learned to read and write, she would bring bad luck to her husband and become a widow. But despite this, she taught herself how to read and write in secret well after her marriage. After learning the alphabets, Rajchandra Devi was able to read the Chaitanya Bhagavat, and through her own writing, she also gave the world an opportunity to read about women's lives in those days. Rajchandari Devi wrote her everyday life experiences in details. There were days when she did not have a moment's rest, not even time to sit down and eat. So, such were the days. Now, let us look at one more example of Rokeya Shekhawat Hussain and her dreams about the Ladyland. Rokeya Shekhawat Hussain was born into a rich family who owned a lot of land. Though she knew how to read and write Urdu, she was stopped from learning Bangla and English. So, in those days, English was considered to be a language that would expose girls to new ideas, and people thought that it was not correct for them. So, therefore, it was only boys who were taught English. Rokeya learned to read and write Bangla and English with the support of her elder brother and elder sister. She went on to become a writer. She wrote a remarkable story titled Sultana's Dream in 1905 to practice her English skills when she merely was 25 years of age. Now, this story imagined about a woman called Sultana who reaches a place called Ladyland. Now, Ladyland is a place where women had the freedom to study, work, and create inventions like controlling rain from the clouds and flying air cars. So, in this Ladyland, men had been sent into seclusion that their aggressive guns and other weapons of war defeated by the brain power of women. So, this is of her imagination basically. So, as Sultana travels in Ladyland with sister Sarah, she awakes to realize that she was only dreaming. So, children, Rokeya Shekhawat Hossain was dreaming of women flying planes and cars even before girls were being allowed to go to school. So, this is the way in which education and learning had changed Rokeya's own life. And she did not stop at getting education just for herself. Her education gave her the power not only to dream and write but also to do more, to help other girls go to school and to build their own dreams. In 1910, she started a school for girls in Kolkata, and to this day, the school is still functioning.